Hey everybody, it is Rick. Time to wrap up December 2021 movies watched with this final week of December, Christmas week. Still watched a bit of movies the last week of December. I know I was solo for a portion of it because Bridget was visiting with her family a little longer. The way that Christmas holiday fell, I had to come back the Sunday after Christmas and go to work, but I was able to watch some stuff, and we'll get right into it. The first two movies, we'll get into it. I have four things to talk about on physical, as well as a Paramount Plus watch, a Disney Plus watch, and the Hulu film I watched, which we'll talk about first. It was a movie called Horizon Line, which is a 2021 movie. Saw the trailer, thought the movie looked interesting, starring Allison Williams. Basically about a woman and her ex-boyfriend who need to take a flight to make a wedding, and the pilot has a heart attack and they're stranded and there's a big storm coming. So Allison Williams is an actress who I really enjoy from what I've seen her in. I loved her in Get Out. She was good in the TV show Girls as somebody who was incredibly annoying, but I think that was part of the show. So the movie's only 80 minutes. Minus the credits. So, pretty intrigued. Let me see here. Yeah, intrigued, and I enjoyed what was going on until about the last 15 minutes of the film. The conclusion to the film is very weak. It was also done very weird, where it was like an overhead shot, and it kept cutting, and then like it would focus on the characters, and then go to an overhead shot. It was their way of like not having a continuous filming spot, but they just kept panning up and then cutting to a new scene. It was very distracting in my opinion. Definitely something a low budget movie would do based on the ending of the film. So the last 15 minutes, they then tease something that never comes to fruition, and it seemed like a weird tease, honestly, like an out of left field tease to the movie. But the ending really took the movie from, it was going to be a 3.5, and then the last 15 minutes brought it down to a 2.5 for me. Really kind of hurt my enjoyability of the movie. Not something I would step out of your way to watch. Horizon Line, I gave it 2.5 out of 5. I don't have much more to say about it. So the next two movies, I was home and I think I was listing stuff on eBay or pricing stuff out from eBay, and wanted to put on a few like comfort movies to have on while I was working. And there was a movie I talked about with my sister that I wanted to revisit, and another movie that's been on to revisit for a while. And those were the next two movies I watched. So the first one here is a movie called Get Over It. Just a movie I watched a lot when I was like I was probably like 18 or 19, like high school senior, I would guess. I don't know why. I thought it was super funny back in, I don't want to say it was super funny to me back in the day. I don't want to say I don't know why, because it was still funny to me watching it recently. So it's basically about Ben Foster is the main character. He gets broken up with by the hottest girl in school. He wants her back, and his two friends are played by Cisco and Colin Hanks. And to try to get back his ex-girlfriend, he joins the school play, even though he can't sing or act. Kristen Dunst plays Colin Hanks' younger sister, who has a thing for Ben Foster, and basically ridiculousness ensues. Martin Short plays the play director. It's just a funny, like, PG-13 Shakespeare kids comedy. Very quotable for me and my sister, something we would go back and forth with in younger days. And just a fun teen comedy. Also, besides all those people I named, Shane West and a young Zoe Saldana are also in it. And just a fun time for me. I give it a 3 out of 5. Like I said, one I grew up watching quite a bit, so this will obviously stay on my shelf as like a comfort watch when I want it. Now this movie, man, 12-year-old Rick, obsessed with this flick. This was actually the last VHS tape I owned. It was the only one I didn't get rid of because it I didn't have the Warner Archive DVD that I'm about to show, and this was only available on VHS for the longest time. They never did a formal pressing of this, and it is the 1995 film Angus, a soundtrack that I listened to all the time as a younger kid, as I was obsessed with Green Day and Weezer in my younger days. You know, this movie just resonated with me, I guess because it's about a big guy who had trouble fitting in and younger Rick related to that. Like I said, Green Day and Weezer and other great music, fantastic soundtrack. So this movie is about high school student Angus Bethune, played by Charlie Talbert. He has a nerdy friend, Troy Wedberg, who is played by Chris Owen, who is the Shermanator in the American Pie movies. He has his enemy in school, Rick Sanford, played by James Vanderbeek, and the girl of his dreams. Oh, did I write her name? I didn't write her name down. It's Anna Thompson is the actor, or is it Ariana Richards? Anyway, he has this girl he has a crush on. She's dating Rick, of course. His mom is Kathy Bates. His grandfather is George C. Scott. And it's just a movie that hits differently. Like, it's just a realistic look at high school, in my opinion, even though it's like 25 years old now. It talks about being different, like, and not treating other people differently or living differently because you're different. And it all ties into the story. Definitely a fantastic coming-of-age movie from the mid-90s, one I highly recommend. It still holds up so well, and I was so glad to revisit it. It was so fun to rewatch. I give Angus a 4 out of 5. Just a movie that I think is really well done and just is fun to revisit. So Angus, 4 out of 5. Check out Angus if you guys haven't. Like I said, really resonated with me, and I think it will probably hold up to a lot of people. I think a lot of people will enjoy watching this now, like even if you didn't grow up watching it. So next up, watched a dude flick, as I like to call him. My yearly Liam Neeson dude flick that I, for some reason, always submit myself to, even though they're the same movie over and over. That is The Marksman from 2021, or as I would like to refer to it from now on, The Meh Man, because this movie is just meh. It's, man, every year. I just saw that Liam Neeson, by the time this comes out, he has a new movie coming out in like 2 weeks from today. It is another PG-13 action movie. I will probably watch that one just like I watch all his other ones. He's a guy with a particular set of skills, luckily, that were part of his past life, and he needs to use them again. This one was no different. Just incredibly predictable. The ending of this one took me by surprise a little bit, but it wasn't anything mind-blowing. Super by the numbers, and just wasn't a big fan of this one. I gave Marksman a 2 out of 5. I don't really have much to say. This isn't staying on the shelf. I really need to stop buying these Liam Neeson movies every year, because like Honest Thief and a bunch of the other ones he does, it's just the same PG-13 action movie every time. So, The Man, 2 out of 5. Next up, we watched a very fun family film on Disney Plus, and that is Encanto, a movie I really, really enjoyed. It hits that perfect 90-minute family film. Fun and enjoyable for kids and adults, in my opinion. Great music. Lin-Manuel Miranda, the guy who did Hamilton, and music from Moana and Vivo and In the Heights, is back here doing the music again, and the music stood out and was the highlight of the movie for me. John Leguizamo plays Bruno. In my opinion, steals the movie. The main lead is voiced by Stephanie Beatrice, who was on Brooklyn Nine-Nine. That's what I know her from. Bruno, for me, is the best part of the movie. I wish there was more of his character. I understand why there's not, but I wish there was more of it. So the ending was a little bit lackluster for me, and probably stopped it from being a 4.5, although still a good ending, nothing awful. didn't affect my overall enjoyment of the movie very much. So I gave Encanto 4 out of 5. A very fun family movie, very whimsical, great songs throughout, in my opinion. If you're a fan of Lin-Manuel Miranda songs, I know a lot of people are just over Lin-Manuel Miranda and his music. I, however, am not, and I enjoyed it quite a bit. The next thing we watched was on Paramount Plus, and that is a movie called Rumble, which is a movie where it looked like from the trailer it would be worth a one-time watch. Wasn't going to go to theaters to see this one. We're looking for something family-friendly to watch with RJ. We picked this one out. This movie is co-produced by WWE Studios, features the voices of Becky Lynch and Roman Reigns in the movie. There's a lot of little references to wrestling, which was probably the only thing that kept me interested, as this is a very by-the-numbers animated family film. Like, very predictable. You can see where this movie is going from the start. But it was fun. Being a wrestling fan, the tie-ins they had to the WWE, there's a really fun voice cast in the movie as well. Geraldine Viswanathan, who I love from Blockers and Broken Hearts Gallery. Bridget Everett's in there. Will Arnett. Lots of fun voice actors. So definitely a one-time watch for me. Rumble gets a 2.5 out of 5. And then the last thing we watched in December, the last movie of 2021 that we watched, wanted to show this to RJ in preparation for the following film, the next film that we would watch, which we'll talk about on the first January 2022 review video next week. But had to show him this one. This has been on my to show RJ list for a while, and that is The Princess Bride, a movie that my sister and I grew up watching quite a bit. This came out 87 or 88. I was 4 when this came out. So I probably watched it quite a bit. 5 and 6 years old, 7 years old. Really, really enjoyed it. RJ really actually liked this. I was kind of worried about it because it's a love story and fantasy, which isn't his thing. I know it's not really my thing, but I think he liked the stuff with Fred Savage and his grandfather reading him the story and the funny subplots of the movie. So, Princess Bride, I also wanted to show him this for the next movie we would watch, because I knew they tied together. Great performances, obviously, throughout. Mandy Patinkin, Carrie Elwes, Billy Crystal, Christopher Guest, Andre the Giant, Wallace Shawn, Robin Wright, I believe in her first movie, if I'm not mistaken. And just an entertaining watch from start to finish, in my opinion. The Princess Bride, 4 out of 5, a classic movie for sure. And that is it, guys. That is everything that we watched in December. Well, now that is everything that I've seen in December. We will talk about Surprise of the Month and Hot Trash of the Month in 1 second. 29 totals movie. Hey. My voice is starting to go. 29 total movies watched in December. Pretty good considering the holiday. But yeah, 29 movies watched. The surprise of the month was a musical on Netflix based on the life of Jonathan Larson, and that is Tick, Tick, Boom. A phenomenal performance from Andrew Garfield. Hopefully he gets some Oscar love for the role, in my opinion. I actually toyed with buying the soundtrack on iTunes recently. I held off, but really seriously considered it. I definitely recommend checking it out. It is fantastic. Made me want to watch Rent, and I really want to watch musicals, a lot more musicals. I recently just watched something that will be in next week's video about musicals that I really enjoyed. So hopefully watch more musicals this year. I have a bunch that I own that I have not seen. I think, do I own Rent? If not, I'll have to get my hands on Rent or see if it's streaming somewhere, because obviously Jonathan Larson wrote Rent. So I do not own it, but I'm sure it'll be streaming somewhere. And then the Hot Trash of the Month, we talked about it last week, is The Nutcracker in the Four Realms. Just didn't do it for me. Was not a huge fan of this movie. 1.5 for Hot Trash is actually pretty high, so consider yourself lucky, Nutcracker. I'm sorry, you're still going to get that Hot Trash stamp on it. But yeah, just not for me. The Nutcracker in the Four Realms. And that is it, guys. That is everything from December that we watched. We're now, 2021 is done. By the time this comes out, hopefully my end of the year 2021 videos will come out. The best movies I saw, the worst movies, the hot trash of the year, and the movies I still have yet to see that I need to watch. So plenty of content coming your way. So thank you guys for watching. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you don't do so already. Hit that bell notification so you guys know when new videos are coming to the channel. Also check out the description box down below where you can find links to my Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Letterboxd where I rate and review all the movies I watch, my Blu-ray.com profile, eBay store, Amazon wishlist, P.O. box, email address, all that down below. That is it. So thank you guys for watching. As always, until next time, who's down to movie?